Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight on air and by streaming us for 23 ABC News at 11. I'm Mythili. Tonight's top stories. Starting tomorrow, the CSUB campus might look a little different. More on changes to their masking guidelines. And celebrating films this Oscar Sunday, Kern County has a rich history with the cinematic world. More on that coming up.
And we've already felt the winds, but the rain is also on the way. 23 ABC News at 11 starts now.
Live from Kern County's streaming news leader, this is 23 ABC News at 11, and it starts now.
Good Sunday evening. We begin tonight with changes to CSUB's mask policy. Starting tomorrow, masks will only be recommended but not required on the university campus. I spoke to administration at CSUB who say they didn't make the decision lightly and want to continue to support their students.
Making a decision that best reflected the desires of our campus population.
That's Dr. Kristen Watson, Chief of Staff to President Zelezny at CSUB. She says they spoke to students, faculty, and staff with guidance from public health departments to update these guidelines. Watson adds that it's still a personal choice to mask up or not.
By making masking optional, it doesn't mean that you cannot wear a mask.
Watson adds that the university will still have safety measures in place to help curb the spread of the virus. She says they have high testing and vaccination rates and a supply of N95 masks if people want them.
All of our additional safety protocols continue in place. So we ask for everyone that's coming to campus to do their daily screening. And if they're not feeling well, if they don't pass that screening, then please stay home.
Watson stressed that they want to make sure every person on campus feels supported in their decision. So the university has ways through the Dean of Students office or counseling services to seek help if anyone feels uncomfortable.
Should they feel like they may be cast in a different light because they're choosing to wear a mask or perhaps not wear a mask, that they definitely have resources available on campus.
She adds that having the option for students, staff, and faculty to not wear masks and be able to go one step closer to a sense of normalcy is a positive sign.
I think it gives our faculty, staff, and our students a little bit of hope, a little bit of optimism for the direction that we're moving.
And with mask guidelines changing across the state and here in Kern County, we want to take a deeper look at places where you do still have to wear a mask. According to the California Department of Public Health, masks are required on public transit, stations, and airports as well. They're needed in healthcare and long-term care centers, emergency shelters, jails and prisons, and homeless shelters as well. Now, even though masks are not required, they are strongly recommended in indoor public spaces, schools, and childcare areas as well. And in more news tonight, the 2022 Bakersfield Marathon kicked off this morning. There was energy, excitement, and festivities through parts of the city all morning long. Thousands of runners and walkers woke up and laced up for this year's marathon. The races started after 7 a.m. this morning. First was the full marathon, then the half marathon, and the 10K and the 6K followed soon after. The races started at the Kern County Museum and participants took to the streets of the city. People were walking, running, cheering, and enjoying their Sunday morning outdoors. Now, 23 ABC is one of the proud sponsors of this event, so we had our cruise through the streets. At the 23-mile mark, our teams handed out water and cheered for the runners. We also ran with the 6K with Anastasia Purcell on her team No Limits. She's a fourth grader with Down syndrome, inspiring others in her community for her love with running. And as she crossed the finish line, cheers erupted and she proudly showed her medal for all to see. And it was a beautiful day this morning, but we already have some changes in our weather on the way. Here's from the ABC's Rosaura Simone. And Rosaura, I was outside earlier. I could already feel those wind gusts and the trees were dancing. What do we have in store?
We have even more wind in store, everyone, so I want you to be prepared. Right now, it's about 65 degrees out there. Humidity level is at 27%. Now look at our winds here. They're coming from the southeast at 15 miles per hour, and they're fluctuating, and they have the possibility to even get up to 30 miles per hour. Our cloud coverage is currently at 0% and rainfall at 0.00 inches, but it's all about to change, and I want you to pay attention to this slide that's coming up here. Now take a look at our future cast. That is that storm that's coming in on Monday. As you can see, by the time we get to Tuesday, that's when we're receiving that 20% chance of rain, but by the end of Tuesday, we're just left with a bit of that cloud coverage there. Speaking of the storm timeline, though, I want you guys to know, as you saw, those winds already picked up. Gusts could get up to 30 miles per hour countywide, and on Monday, that's when we're going to get those heavy downpours. Those showers will linger into the afternoon and and the evening hours. Now, watches and warnings, that wind advisory is in effect until 11 a.m. tomorrow. So it is going to be very windy out there, and you guys need to be very careful. Now, if you're planning out the rest of your night, 1 a.m., 3 a.m., that's when it's going to be about that 30% chance of rain. But by the time we hit 5 a.m., there's that 90% chance. I'm going to have some tips for you guys coming up.
Thank you, Rosara. The White House is coming to Kern County. First Lady Dr. Jill Biden is expected to arrive in Keene tomorrow. She's set to attend a U.S. citizenship naturalization ceremony in honor of Cesar Chavez Day. And as Ukraine settles into its second month of fighting off Russian forces, the nation is seeing some victories. But the country is still calling on NATO to help. Mary Maloney reports.
Ukraine is gaining ground on Russian forces, reclaiming several villages in a series of counterattacks, including to the east of Kharkiv and northwest of Mariupol, according to local officials.
It's clear that Russian forces are not performing as anticipated.
An enlisted Ukrainian singer traveling the country says morale is high right now.
And united we are, and we will win this war, no doubt for me.
Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is repeating his pleas for more military assistance.
1% of all the planes of NATO, 1% of all the tanks. That's all we're asking for.
Right now, the United States is very much focused on their air defense needs, and we're delivering multiple capabilities to try and address those requirements.
Now, one Russian general suggesting the country will tighten its focus primarily to the Donbas region.
I don't think we have evidence of that quite yet. Next couple days, the United States, working closely with allies and the Ukrainian government, will be looking for evidence of this shift.
Ukraine's military intelligence head says Russian President Vladimir Putin could be looking to carve Ukraine in two. I'm Mary Maloney reporting.
We like to highlight stories of people doing good in their communities. In tonight's positive story, some elementary students near Atlanta surprised their beloved custodian, who is also from Ukraine. Lana Gashenko, a U.S. citizen, has worked at Oak Hill Elementary for 21 years, but she has dozens of family members in Ukraine. So in a show of support, students drew sunflowers for her, which are a symbol of hope in Ukraine. They also put up a blue and yellow Ukrainian flag with the message, "We love you, Mrs. Lana." And shifting gears now, some of the best stories ever written are based on true stories. That includes screenplays of some of Hollywood's most iconic films. As part of our celebration of the 94th Academy Awards that you watched right here on 23 ABC, our Vanya Patino decided to take a look at some of the films that were not only based in Kern County, but that were also filmed right here in our communities.
A true piece of American cinematic history, Grapes of Wrath is a book-turned-movie based out of these very camps. It follows a family from Oklahoma that during the Great Depression went searching for a job here in these ag fields. The story is based out of real people that lived in these migrant camps that, as you can see, still stand and were actually used in the film years later. Now, a portion of them have turned into a museum representing the history here in Kern County. But it's not just that history that makes this place such a great backdrop for so many films.
When you look at our geography, it is so diverse. We have Red Rock Canyon and Tehachapi and snow and the Kern River. There are tons of different options for filmmakers.
1 second you can be in the desert, drive a couple miles, and then you're in a forest. Filmmakers have taken note of this, like Steven Spielberg using Red Rock Canyon to bring dinosaurs to life in Jurassic Park, or Lindsay Lohan driving the iconic Herbie into Tehachapi. The list goes on to include shows like Jay Leno's Garage, which is still filming about twice a month here, and Netflix's Gentefied, which was created by a Bakersfield native, Marvin Lemus. But the many landscapes and convenient proximity from Los Angeles are not the only incentives.
Our film process is very easy, especially compared to Los Angeles, where fees can get pretty high for people looking to film. Here in Kern County, our whole film permitting process is free to people looking to film.
This also helps film students on a budget trying to kick off their careers. And sometimes it's students who are the focus of the films, like the movie we all know that put the Central Valley on the map, McFarland, USA. The movie follows the story of immigrant students from McFarland High who became cross-country champions, showcasing the experience and values many Kern families share.
Kern County, we are making history. That was a huge, exciting thing that happened here. And then obviously a couple years later, a movie made after that event.
And there are thousands of stories to be told from our communities on both the small and big screens. So maybe next time you too will be inspired. In Arvin, Bonnie Patino, 23 ABC News, connecting you.
It's no secret that we're seeing inflation everywhere, but these price increases are hitting those with less the hardest. Coast to coast, food banks are seeing an increased need. Most food banks buy a majority of the food they provide to those in need. And as one food bank CEO says, though most nonprofits are used to getting by on a limited budget, inflation is pushing many food banks and their suppliers to the brink.
Pre-COVID, we were spending about $300,000 every month on food. Now that's almost $1 million a month. Beef prices are up 27% over 1 year ago. Canned fruit up 30%. Our freight costs are up 60%. And that impacts the food that we're purchasing as well as the food that's getting donated to us.
Grocery bills overall increased by 8.6% last month. That's the biggest jump since the early 1980s. And in spite of all the challenges, our community is stepping up to help fill our food pantries and feed our neighbors. Kern County, we did it again. And this time, this year's 23 ABC Senior Food Drive was a total success thanks to you. We were able to pull in donations for over 40,000 meals because of your generous contributions. Last year, we were able to provide just over 12,000 meals. Community leaders and many Kern County residents stopped by our studios all day Thursday to ensure that our local seniors had their needs met. Our partnership with local nonprofit Cap K was able to make it a possibility. Thank you to all who came out to help us in supporting our seniors. And coming up, we'll tell you about some events that you might want to check out happening right here in our town.
I'm John Matteries. Home warranties are supposed to give you peace of mind when a major appliance fails. But then why do so many people say it denied their claim? What you need to know about these warranties coming up.
And a storm is on the way, Kern County. I have your tips for driving in it coming up.
And millions of Americans have home warranties for peace of mind if an appliance fails. But many of them say their claim was denied when they needed it. Consumer reporter John Matteries has a new caution about some home warranties so you don't waste your money.
All right. When Rosalie Battle's 16-year-old heat and air conditioning stopped working, 2006, she called her home warranty company. She'd been paying them $500 a year for protection. So they sent a repairman who claimed it was a simple fix.
He said it was a fuse.
It wasn't.
But then 2 hours later, it went out.
So she called again, and they sent a second repairman who diagnosed a blown heat exchanger. But she was stunned with what the warranty company then told her.
They're not going to fix it because it's a manufacturer's defect. What they got to do with me?
They told her the $1,000 repair did not qualify for warranty coverage.
A home warranty is supposed to give you peace of mind and pay for repairs such as when a hot water heater goes out. But then why are so many people complaining that their warranty company denied their claim?
So consumers do need to take caution if they're saying that everything is covered.
Sarah Wetzel is with the Better Business Bureau. She says warranties are great if they actually cover the costs. To protect yourself, Wetzel says, read the small print. Read the terms, conditions, and exclusions to make sure you fully understand what you're getting. Read reviews at the Better Business Bureau and read the whole contract before signing. Rosalie ended up canceling her home warranty, saying it was not worth $500 a year. So do your homework so you don't waste your money. I'm John Matteries.
Let's switch gears now and bring in 23 ABC's Rosaura Simone because we have quite a bit of weather to talk about. How do we dress? What's it going to look like? What do we have in store?
Oh yes, you need to have out every single thing in your closet because the weather is going to fluctuate this week. Now what we're experiencing right now, it's 65 degrees, which is actually pretty warm. It's 11 o'clock at night. It's 65 degrees right now. Our dew point is at 30 degrees. Now we did have a significant temperature change over the past 24 hours. We're 7 degrees cooler than we were this time yesterday. And our winds also have picked up a little bit, 15 miles per hour. I'm sure you guys were feeling those gusts out there a little earlier today. Visibility is at 6 miles, so we don't have a fog advisory, and that's fortunate because what we do have on the way is a lovely storm. Currently it's offshore, but as you can see, as it comes in, it will affect all of California, especially us here in Kern County. We're going to be seeing those downpours, and on Monday, that's the day where it's going to be very intense out there. So you know I have your storm impacts. Not only is there going to be rain, but there are going to be some strong wind gusts, especially at the base of the Grapevine. So if you're traveling out or into town, it's going to be about 50 miles per hour. So you want to take extra care. It'll be about 30 miles per hour countywide. So it's also going to be windy here. Typically here in Bakersfield, we're between 5 to 10 miles per hour at best. So you're going to really be feeling those gusts. Of course, there's going to be that heavy rain, but it will persist into the afternoon and the evening. Now what I want us to take a look at here is our futurecast rain. Oh no, where did they go? That's okay, we're gonna go back because they're important. Our futurecast rain here because we want to know who's gonna get what. In Delano, 0.64 inches by the end of Monday, 0.6 in McFarland, 0.55 here in Bakersfield. Now this may seem small, but it is a big deal for us. Now here for our futurecast wind gusts, as you can see, by the time we get to Tuesday, it is gonna calm down significantly. Bakersfield will only be at 4 miles per hour, which is pretty typical for us. Now our mountain communities are still gonna be a little bit breezier, but it is gonna be looking better. Also to be affected, we're gonna have some snow out there, but only at our higher elevations. All at the Sierra Walker Pass and Pine Mountain Club, we'll all be expecting to see some snow out there, but luckily not at the pass level. For my people in the higher elevations driving in the snow, slow down, brake and accelerate slowly. Leave plenty of distance between you and the car in front of you. Remove all the snow from your vehicle before you start driving and keep an emergency kit in there. We don't want anyone to get stranded anywhere. Now, fortunately for us, the air quality will be good tomorrow just in time for the kiddos to go back to school. Now let me get on out the way because if you're planning out your night, plan for an umbrella. There's going to be a severe chance of rain pretty much all through Sunday and into Monday. We could even be having some thunderstorms out there. It's going to be a partially cloudy day, gusts as high as 25 miles per hour. So not only is it going to be raining, you're going to be blowing out there as well, Kern County. Now here on Tuesday, don't put your umbrellas away just yet. We have that 20% chance of rain before 11 a.m. It's going to be cloudy and then gradually sunny and still those gusts up to 15 miles per hour, but not as bad as they are today. Now going through the week, you guys, the temperature is going to start to go up, but look at Saturday. We're back to the 80s. That's what I meant by having out your winter coat and your summer shorts because the weather is really fluctuating out there. Same for the mountain 7-day forecast. The weather's fluctuating, 90 to 100% chance on Monday of rain, 20% to 30% on Tuesday for rain. And by the time they get to Saturday, Lake Isabel's at 76, Tehachapi's at 67, and Fraser Park is at 65.
Thank you so much, Rosaura. If you're looking for some events this week right here in Bakersfield, we do have a couple that you might enjoy. In entertainment, comedian and former Oakland Raiderette will be coming to Bakersfield this upcoming week. You may recognize her, Angela Johnson. The California native will be bringing her comedy stylings to the Fox Theater on Thursday, March 31st at 7 p.m. Tickets are already on sale, so you can head to the box office or get them at axs.com. And for classical music lovers, the Bakersfield Symphony Orchestra has you covered. They're performing the classic Peter and the Wolf at the Mechanics Bank Theater. The show is set for Saturday, April 2nd. Tickets are also on sale now. They start at $12 for adults and $8 for kids. And coming up, the CSU Bakersfield men's soccer team welcomed a professional team from Mexico to Kern County. See how the runners did next in sports.
The 23 ABC Sports Desk is sponsored by the personal injury lawyers of Young Wooldridge.
CSUB redshirt freshman catcher Andrew Allenson is on fire this week. He hit 2 grand slams on Tuesday and has 3 home runs this weekend against Utah Valley. In the series finale, Allenson cranks the ball deep to right field. The first pitch he sees almost leaves the yard. The Lancaster native collects his first career triple. Allenson finished the week with 10 hits and 16 RBI. You know you're on fire when the opposing team plays 4 outfielders against you. The Wolverines also shifted their infielders to the right side. How does Allenson respond to that? By bunting up the third baseline for a hit. He seems like a lock for Big West Player of the Week honors. The runners fall in extra innings. They host Cal State Fullerton next weekend. Over at the soccer field, the runners hosted the Cholos at Tijuana's under-20 team for an international friendly. Bakersfield had momentum early in this match. Ricardo Sosa tries to chip goalkeeper Luis Villegas. He made 4 saves in the first half against the runners. Over 1,200 fans were in the stands to watch this game. In the 20th minute, Tijuana finds the back of the net. Christian Castillo scores the only goal of the game. The Cholos go back to Mexico with a win. Bakersfield starts their soccer season in August. The U.S. men's soccer team continued their quest to clinch a World Cup spot. The Americans earn a penalty kick in the first 15 minutes of the match. Christian Pulisic converts from the spot, and Captain America was not done scoring goals. At the end of the first half, the U.S. get another penalty. Pulisic is money again. The Americans go up 4-0, and the Chelsea winger is doing the worm in Orlando. How about goal number 3 for Pulisic? Shows off his touch in the box, and no doubt about this one. The U.S. steamrolls Panama 5-1. They clinch a spot in the World Cup on Wednesday if they do not lose to Costa Rica by 6 goals. The Lakers win the Big Easy to play the Pelicans. LeBron James made 6 3-pointers in the first half. He had 25 points in the first half and finished the night with 39. The Lakers led by 20 points in this game. Look like they're going to cruise to a win and move up in the play-in standings. Not so fast, my friends. Here come the Pelicans. Former Laker Brandon Ingram scored 26 points. New Orleans comes all the way back to win the game. The Lakers only have a 1-game lead in the playoff standings. Bakersfield native Tyrone Wallace did not play for the Pelicans due to a coach's decision. The Elite Eight wrapped up in the NCAA tournament. Cinderella St. Peter is looking to become the first 15th seed to win an Elite Eight game. Well, the clock struck midnight for the Peacocks. They were just outmatched by North Carolina. R.J. Davis with the steal, Caleb Love with the slam. The Tar Heels will play rival Duke for the first time ever in the Final Four. Kansas also punched their ticket to the Final Four with a win over Miami. Mythili, our brackets are busted for sure.
Not great, not great. We tried though.
You tried.
We tried.
And you tried too. You're doing the Bakersfield Marathon today. You did a good job doing that.
I did the 6K. It was a lot of fun. It was great to run with the team. We had Anastasia, so it was a good time.
And you're doing a great job in your first time anchoring for us as well too.
It's been so fun. I love the crew here, and I'm glad that we get to do this together.
Yeah,
so
for
great
sure.
having you here.
Doing great.
Awesome. So we'll come back and take one final look at your forecast when 23 ABC News at 11 returns. And welcome back. Tonight's Oscars had some historic and memorable moments, but let's take a look at one part of the awards that has been going viral and has definitely left some of us confused. Take a look at this.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard. Oh, wow. Wow.
All right, so that was Chris Rock, Will Smith, that slap there. What do we think, guys?
Wow, is all I can say, right? I couldn't tell you who really won anything at these awards because that's all I remember.
Yeah, honestly so. I mean, it's unbelievable, and I think it really took away from his moment. So I was just like, what?
Yeah.
What?
I mean, it was Will Smith's first Oscar, and just so many historic moments in that, so many movies winning, personalities coming through, and this is what I think is on everyone's minds now.
Talk about a range of emotions right there, right? From
Honestly.
your first Oscar win to that. And I mean, like,
what do we think? Staged?
I thought it looked a little staged, but then it went from that slap to like some tears later and a few apologies. So I was just like, we're just on a roller coaster here.
Well, speaking of roller coasters, though, so is our weather. Maybe let's take a look at that now. Rasar, what do we have in store?
Yes, no, absolutely. And that's why I use this background here. It's definitely a weather roller coaster out here, you guys, because we have some rain on the way here. And as you can see, that will continue until Tuesday. But by the time we get to Saturday, we are back in those 80s. Wild, right? Same for our 7-day forecast in our mountain towns. Mythili?
Well, that's all we have tonight. Thanks for joining us here at 11. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.